Port Mafia versus Robotgame. This should be pretty good. The last Robotgame out of synced. Hopefully we see him participate in this one. Alright, so Port Mafia is Japan. And Robotgame is the Ottomans. So we're going to see Ottomans versus Japan. Kind of an interesting matchup. I don't think we've seen Ottomans versus Japanese this tournament, right? Nope, not quite yet. So this will be an interesting one. I can imagine, well, I'm trying to think in general if I've seen a ton of Ottoman versus Japans, especially in Definitive Edition. Truth is, I can't remember. I can't remember seeing this matchup a lot. But honestly, I would say probably. I would maybe put my cards on the Ottoman player, depending on how they set up, how fast they are. I don't know, because I don't want to discount the Japanese either, because the Japanese obviously have that very economic defensive edge as well. The fact that those Ashigarus walk so fast at 4.5 movement speed versus just 4, huge advantage on the battlefield too. They can allow them to get around the Janissaries. I don't want to discount that either, you know? So yeah, big time. I think definitely on Great Plains, Japan is always going to have a bit of an edge by the fact that there's so many hunts on the map, that it's not going to be hard for your eco monks to basically find the shrines that they need to essentially pick up all of the resources here. So I think in that aspect, Japan does great on Great Plains, because there's a ton of bison and other pronghorn huntable options to ensure that you can get all the 20 shrines that you need to boom like crazy. Oh, interesting. So Mountain Warrior is the first card here. Mountain Warrior upgrades the monk and allows him to get more yield from the treasures. So basically it encourages you to play Treasure Hunter as Japan, get a ton of treasures, and instead of the initial resource count that the treasure has, it ends up giving you more. Alright, so Port Mafia did get 70 gold out of a treasure. That's really good. Gets a free coyote as well to look for even more treasures. So setting themselves up here for some good success, right? How many other resource treasures we got? We got a 25 wood one here. This will be really good. This will help Japan to get another shrine. I would say even this treasure's not bad, because guess what? You can take these herdables and stick them right onto one of your shrines in your base, so you don't have to go for a risky shrine outside your base. You can put a shrine near your town center and just bring the herdables to it to ensure that that shrine isn't immediately harassed by Ottoman Janissaries. I think that's a pretty good distinctive advantage to pick up as well if you can. But is there any other resource treasures? Yeah, get this one if you're Japan. You should try to get this one. The big XP one there. This is an okay one. Yeah, I think this. What's this? Yep, try to get that one. Try to get all the resource treasures, because the thing is, you went for this card for the sake of getting a ton of treasures, so you better get all the resource treasures at least. Otherwise, it's a wasted card. Alright, so going Torii Gates. Torii Gates, as we've mentioned last night, or I think it was last night or the night before, if you see Torii Gates with Japan, it means they're going to be playing aggressively. They're going to go for a rush. Because what this wonder does, it sets it up so your units gain more XP when they kill things, and it also means you gain more XP when those units are being trained. So all of your XP bounties just go up. It's quite helpful. Another thing this age up does, it gives you a military rickshaw that you can put right away into a barracks. So you don't even need the wood to build the barracks. The barracks will just build itself. And you can start up with Ashigarus and Yumis as you need. In addition, it gives you a free samurai too, but I don't think that's the most important part. The samurai definitely can be good for scouting, and it can obviously be good for a support unit against cav and maybe meat shielding, but big thing is the military rickshaw and the increased bounty thing. That's the big part of Torii Gate. So, Ottoman going double barracks Janissary, so they will not be fast fortressing here. They will be going double barracks Janissary to shove their Janissary stats down the Japanese player's throat at this point. They're going to be like going nuclear on the HP of those muskets. And you can see them right now going for the gold shipment there to make sure that they have an endless stream of gold to queue up Jans. So already the double Janissary queue is beginning. And you're going to see a rush for them towards food to make sure that they can maintain it, right? The Japan, looks like their barracks is just about up, so they can start queuing up Ashigarus. But the thing you gotta realize about Japan as well, they can ship many of their cards twice. So they can, even though this is a 5 Yumi Archer shipment, they can get up to 10 of them if they get another shipment available. They could get 10 Yumi Archers, not just 5. They could get 10 of them by just shipping the card again, right? But what they started out with was the 5 Shrine card to get them a quick source of population with those shrines, and they moving them out onto the map to get as many hunts near their base as possible, so they can get resources and more pop space to keep up with the Ottoman player. Ottomans already getting their first batch of Janissaries out. Now they're starting to double barracks queue more Janissaries, it looks like. As the hunt rate on the Ottomans improves and they get steel traps, they should be able to afford huge batches of 8 to 9 to 10 Janissaries. So Janissary numbers are going to go through the roof once steel traps comes into effect and their hunt rate is substantial enough. They're even going for 5 Uruks, so 5 more additional villagers to go on the animal sun. Alright, but it looks like Japan is going to try to defend. They got Ashigarus from the barracks. They also got the shipped in Yumis. Yumis is going to be that big difference unit that's going to give the Ashigarus an edge against these Janissaries, because they got the multipliers against the heavy infantry. 19 times 1.5. That's essentially going to be 20-something damage, which is going to beat out what the Ashigarus are doing against the Janissaries. So, gotta keep those Yumis alive, as well as keep a ton of Ashigarus in the front to push the numbers in there. Ottoman player trying to eke out as much raiding as possible, seeing if they can snipe a Vil on the cherry orchard maybe. But Japan will round the corner there to put down the market. Right away, they're going to want to get their berry gathering technologies for the cherry orchards, and eventually get the Yokogusa lanterns, which is the second cherry orchard technology, to get a really good gather right there. Janissaries down. Looks like Japan is consolidated with both of their Yumi Archer shipments. Looks like they've lost 2 of their archers, but it's pretty okay since they got enough Ashigarus to keep up with. Went with the diplomatic intrigue to get access to the bank. That's going to provide enough gold to keep a steady stream of Ashigarus going. And then they're going to cancel that alliance right away to go with probably Japanese isolationism to get the attack up on the troops. Because for what you know about Janissaries, they have a ton of HP. Best thing you can do, you have more attack onto these Yumis, so they're doing even more damage at the Janissaries, right? Also, picking up all of the cherry gathering techs at the market there, even getting civil servants, which will benefit all the gather rates or natural resources, including the berries. So, going heavily on food economy there. Oh, good use of the smoke bomb there to avoid giving the Turks any additional kill bounty on those explorers. Very nice. You're also going to need those explorers to build more shrines on the map too. So I think, frankly, Japan's doing a pretty good job there. Now, what the Japan is going to do now is they're actually going to go for the Golden Pavilion. They're going to go for a Fortress Age. With this Golden Pavilion, they're going to get some more free Yumi Archers, so a bit more anti-Janissary pop-in power. Plus, the Golden Pavilion can be configured right onto the range mode, which means all range attacks will increase. So that means Yumi arrows are going to do more damage, and the bullets on these Ashigarus are going to do more damage as well. Well, it benefits all the attack modes, so it's not just the range attack, it's also going to benefit the melee attack on range units. So it's going to benefit the bayonets and the Ashigarus, and it's going to benefit the little katanas that the Yumis use too. So yeah, that's great. Also, Japan sent their second batch of 5 shrines out, so they're going to go for as many shrines on this periphery as they can. I think is pretty good. Very good, actually. Merchant Marine. Very good choice there. Should be a very good addition to their economy. Let's see there. So they picked that up from the Spanish consulate. But now they're going to be going to the isolationism. It looks like they wanted one additional technology from the Spaniards in. So that should be quite good. Alright, so now they're in age 3. They can get veteran on these Ashigarus. They're probably going to go for flaming arrows, my guess, too. They're going to go for flaming arrows. That'll be quite good, because then you can use the flaming arrows to actually snipe any potential Ottoman falconets then, right? So what Japan's going to do right away, they're going to rush these barracks. They're going to destroy this forward base that the Ottomans are using and force them to be more defensive. Because if the Japanese can drive the Ottomans back to their base, it makes it a lot less likely that the Ottoman player is going to be able to rush that many shrines with their Janissaries, because what's the Achilles heel of the Japanese? It's taking out their shrine economy, popping one after another after another. So one way you can do that, make it so the Ottoman base is threatened, and they can't afford to take these Janissaries around the map anymore to start downing the shrines. So best way to do that, take out their forward base, force them to build a base in their base, and then that's what you do, right? Unfortunately, Yumi Archer's there to intercept the Janissaries, and they're actually veteran upgraded now too to boot, so they're in really good shape to combat these Janissaries now. Yeah, quite good actually. What is the Ottoman agent up with, by the way? The marksman? Yeah, no, that's probably going to be their best bet there, is to get some Abiskars, so they're doing full crush damage on whatever infantry that they're fighting. What do the Japanese going to get now, is the question. They could go for flaming arrows. They could go for way of the marksman to get more range on these Yumi archers. It really depends on what their game plan is. Oh, interesting. So they got the Golden Pavilion on the speed mode. So instead of worrying about damage or HP, they're concerned with improving the movement speed on these infantry. Now the Ashigarus are up to a whopping 4.72 movement speed, which means they can get out of dodge when the Abyss gunners show up, which you see them doing. Look at these Ashigarus. They know that the Abyss are a threat, so now they're using that movement speed mode to evade crush damage as much as possible, which I think is great. It's going to keep that Japanese army alive a lot longer and be able to roll out in the stack against the Ottomans. You know, I think once you get the flaming arrows as Japan, and you get a steady number of Ashies, you can go after this Ottoman base and finish the job with them, personally. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Bad luck for you Ottomans. Their forward villagers were hunting up here, and now they're gone. 2 villagers down on the Ottoman player. That's pretty substantial. Yeah, you can tell that the Japan's already double score on the Ottoman right now. Ooh, so Ottomans actually have their royal decrees available. So they actually went with Mosque Construction followed by Palace Intrigue. So they're calling in some royal decrees now. They got their Nizams in, plus they got the 2 Falconets now. So a bit of a resurgence by the Ottoman player. Let's see if these Nizams make a huge difference. Because the thing with Nizams is, you can put them on standard mode and they'll have multipliers against heavy infantry. So they're actually good for shredding muskets when in the right mode. Yumi archers going into a bit of a stagger to fight the falconets. One will go down. They will take 1 falconet though, but I don't think they have enough to take the second one out. So what Japan's going to do, they're going to try to retreat these archers, stall a bit of time, give Japan a moment to come up with this cohesive strategy. So what they'll do now is they'll get the shogunate, get a free daimyo, and then that daimyo, they can deliver units right onto the field through their cards to that daimyo. So they can ship flaming arrows right in the middle of a fight. They can ship in Mortarus into the middle of a fight, Ashigarus, Yumis, you name it. Those daimyos can change battles for the better, because the units can spawn right in wherever that daimyo is and just go boop and take out their artillery. It's quite huge, right? And what the Japan's going to do is he's going to take all of his excess export and train a few Kansha Yamabushis. So the Yamabushis, they're not that important, but they're just a nice meat shield to soak up the bullets and the cannonballs with. for all the bigger troops like the Ashigarus and later the artillery to actually be able to focus on their targets without falling too quickly. Alright, so we got those Yamabushis there. These Ashigarus. He's got the 4 flaming arrow shipment right on top of this Daimyo. Daimyo Masamune. Let's see if Masamune goes right over here behind him and gives him a bit of a surprise. Yeah. Yep, he configured him right to the Daimyo as you see right there, and he's got the flaming arrows ready to go. Because Japanese manage their shipments well, they're going to have 4 more flaming arrows too, to boot. He's also picking up Honored Flaming Arrow, which means that's the guard upgrade on these cannons. So, guard artillery, 8 guard artillery pieces against Ottomans right now. This is not good for the Ottoman player. That's why you have the Ottoman player in stagger mode, because in stagger mode, Nizams deal anti-artillery multipliers. But, yeah, so he's trying to do 48 straight up damage to these cannons, as best as he can. But unfortunately, because of so much Japanese infantry, they were able to intercept that whole line of infantry. And now the flaming arrows can take a snipe onto that valve. Ooh, he even had the Yamabushi mashing it with the mace from behind. That's quite good. But now it's over for Ottomans, because now they've lost their army. You got 7 long-range pieces of artillery. How many does he have? 3? Yeah, but no, he was all set to get more shipments there. That was fatality right there. That was over. And he even had his Ashigarus already up to guard as well, so... Yeah. If I remember correctly, I don't even think the Ottoman player even had... Did he have veteranized Jans? Or was he behind on that marker too? I think he was behind even on that marker as well. Yeah. Pretty big actually, yeah. No, pretty substantial. But yep, we're already ready for the next match, so let's go into it right now. Yeah. I like that Japan right there. Another demonstration that the Ottomans aren't everything, you know. A good, well-placed Japan on Great Plains can beat the Ottomans as well. Yeah, quite good.